Yo, what is up guys, and welcome, it's Inferno currently back with Overkill's The Walking Dead. Yeah, not Telltale for once, but hey, I have made videos in the past about Overkill's version of The Walking Dead, my initial impressions on the little first reveal of it, and then of course the delays that it suffered. I made a video on that, and in between that time, we've had 4 awesome cinematic trailers. As you know, we're introducing the characters. We've had, of course, my girl Heather. My guy Grant. My gal Maya. And my dude Aidan. And of course, all these trailers were just incredible, and I've loved them all. They're pretty great, to be honest. And that was just a great introduction to the characters, because giving them more backstory kind of just makes you, feel for them and understand them a lot more, what they're going through and things like that. That's pretty cool. So hopefully that will be expressed in the actual game, because this game is going to have a story to it. It isn't just gameplay. There has been a bunch of gameplay, by the way. We've had, of course, a trailer for the gameplay that came out during the Pizza Gaming show, which was, what I was expecting to be all, but they released more the next day, which is definitely awesome. And basically, here are my thoughts and opinions on the little gameplay here. Okay, so for the most part of the game, graphically, how's it look? Okay, it doesn't look like too amazing. Definitely looks pretty good. Definitely not like, I would say, Battlefield level quality, but it's more like a more AA type, feel graphically wise. And that's not bad. Okay, graphics don't make a game, and this doesn't look that bad. Okay, doesn't look awful. Doesn't look like it's unplayable due to the ungraphical fidelity, but it does look pretty decent, pretty good for the most part. And of course, during the whole gameplay, this gameplay right here, we've had a reveal that, of course, it is mission based. We didn't know whether or not it's going to be open world or what was going to happen, with the whole gameplay wise, but it will be mission based, of course, like Payday 2. And this seems to be, a mission, or some of the missions where you got to go somewhere, and then once you do that, you can kind of like go ahead and have an extraction where you pretty much fire a flare in the air and then wait for your van to go ahead and show up. Things like that, very mission based. But what are the more detailed mechanics we have? But of course, the game is an FPS, okay, a first person shooter. We have various weapons like, of course, snipers for of course long range, and then of course pistols. There were assault rifles as well. And of course we have crossbows, man, throwing it back to Daryl and things like that. So I guess basing upon what you use, things are more stealthy, like we're having a suppressor on your pistol, using a more, small, maybe sharp knife type weapon will be a lot more quiet to go ahead and do with walkers, because, of course, I would think that, sound will attract walkers that can actually, trigger car alarms, things like that. So it's definitely kind of like Left 4 Dead. Hopefully this game isn't really just a reskin Left 4 Dead, but it's looking like, looking pretty similar. And for the most part, Walking Dead compared to Left 4 Dead 2, and I feel like, Walking Dead is very limited. Okay, we have walkers who, of course, they have one type, okay? You can kind of occasionally get the whole armored zombie, maybe things like that, but for the most part, the Walking Dead walkers are pretty general. And then we have, of course, enemies, of course, with guns, humans, actually, and that can be the variation that it has there. But Left 4 Dead 2, the benefit it has is that it's not defined by a comic book that is like, has its own canon material and things like that. The zombies in that game runs, they have different types, hunters, tanks. They kind of just go ahead and throw it over the top and keeps it very, fresh, because there's so much to it. There isn't just a walker that walks, they have zombies that walk, and then some that run, and some that, grab you, and some that, throw you all over the place, and some that kind of just tear you apart. And I'm wondering how will they supplement from having, this limit of just walking walkers. Like, will it be different types? Of course, there are traps and things like that. They have people, they have humans with, of course, guns trying to kill you, some with armor, helmets, things like that. So there will be different types, but for the most part, it will be a struggle trying to differentiate and keep it, challenging compared to Left 4 Dead 2. Hopefully, it will have more things to differentiate itself, because for the most part, there are a bunch of things that make it different from Left 4 Dead. There's things like, vaulting. We have basically looting. Of course, looting is a big part of the game where you can go ahead and collect supplies that you might need for your community. And pretty much for the most part, what I've seen in the gameplay teaser trailer, that, you have a little hub area, and there were people just walking around, just talking and things like that. So I'm wondering if they're going to be a more safe haven type area where you go ahead and just chill out, help your people type thing. There's no confirmation on that at the moment. They didn't really show any gameplay. It's pretty much just the, out in the field type gameplay. But there was a community, so I'm wondering, will it have like a whole, kind of like in Payday 2, where you have your whole safe house, okay? That could be it. You could have your own, safe community where you go to after a mission to kind of just, go ahead and check up on your supplies and things like that, because it will be a lot different from Payday 2, okay? There won't be any money for you to go ahead and trade things with, so I'm wondering, how do you actually, get, like, suppressors, for example? Do you go ahead and trade them with, people? Because that'd be a really cool thing to kind of, use your loot for. Go ahead and trade things with the people, and you gain stuff like certain weapons and various things like that. So I'm wondering how that whole system works in itself. As far as the combat goes, it's pretty much just, FPS, and then you can use melee weapons as well. And at some points in the, trailer, I saw them actually doing like little animations of takedowns and things like that. So I think maybe stealth could be an option. Not entirely sure about that, but for the most part, there are kind of like, specialties for each character. They said that Aidan is more of a tank. He specializes in melee, I guess. And then I would think that Maya would be more of a doctor, healer type person, because you can go ahead and go down as well. So maybe if you have Maya revive somebody instead of, using somebody else, then maybe they come back with more health, things like that. And I'm wondering, between Heather and Grant, who could be the marksman of the group. So there's various mechanics like spotting, where you can go ahead and spot, people, or even traps like bear traps or tripwires, things like that. So that's pretty cool to kind of go ahead and slow you down a little bit, because I'm wondering how will it be challenging. In this game, they aren't really, Walking Dead slow for the most part, from the TV show and things like that. They aren't like extremely slow, but they are slow, okay? So I'm wondering, so I guess once they get in, groups like a herd of walkers and things like that, once they gather up, they could be a bit challenging and, could be a big problem, because events like your teammate getting downed and pretty much being swarmed by walkers, that could be a bit of a problem, okay? So that's very, very cool to see that actually happening. Kind of just adds to the more strategy of it. And there are, of course, human enemies as well, okay? Walking Dead is about the human enemies, okay? They, of course, want more supplies than you do to go ahead and survive, and, that's where the human encounters come in, which is very, very awesome as well. So maybe when you are fighting some humans as well, walkers actually catch onto your gunfire, walk over to you. Therefore, you have two enemies to deal with at once, okay? The humans and the walkers. So that's pretty cool to see. Hopefully, that'll be a big part of the game, various things like that. So for the most part, that's pretty much all from the gameplay we got. Definitely looking alright. Hopefully, there will be more to it in terms of missions, because they do plan on supporting the game after launch, okay? It is coming out November 6th, and, for the most part, they've supported Payday 2 for about, I think they said 5 years, okay? That's a long time, okay? Hopefully this will get the same treatment. Hey man, I would love for this to happen, okay? I guarantee you guys, okay? Hear me out right now, okay? It's Walking Dead, okay? Robert Kirkman's series. They definitely, have to add something from the comics or from Telltale's game. Therefore, I think there will be a DLC that involves Telltale. Maybe even bring in Lee, and if we're lucky, Clementine, maybe even Luke and everybody else. That'd be incredible to kind of add more characters. If not, it's definitely possible. Definitely really possible. If not, we'll get like, Rick, Negan, people like that. It's definitely up in the air and definitely possible. But I know characters are more of a limited type thing for, this game at least. So hopefully we will get, at the very least, Clementine, okay? So that'd be pretty awesome to see as well. So for the most part, hey, hopefully we do, get more of an understanding on how the whole systems work. Of course, there will be a story. You can go to the story with your friends, and so that's pretty awesome. Because, I'm glad they have a story for the most part, because having going through this stuff without a story, without like, any kind of like, big events happening would kind of be a bit of a drag, okay? So I'm glad they actually have a story. Gameplay, hopefully there is more to it than what we saw. Of course, it isn't bad, but, this game has, of course, been delayed, like, I guess, like 2 times. So they had to do that due to, them wanting to go ahead and add more content, which is always very, very great. So, hopefully it will be content filled and everything else, and we can enjoy the game before they start adding, DLC after DLC. For the most part, I believe, with the game, the DLCs were free, but they did have some paid ones as well. So I'm hoping they're gonna go too overboard with that again. Payday 2 was I heard it was kind of like got bad towards the end of development where they started adding too many microtransactions. So hopefully they don't go overboard. I would say charging for like new characters would be reasonable, but I think that, most of the actual, content DLC, some should be free. And, if maybe, the like extremely big ones, some shouldn't. But, hopefully we'll get everything free. Hey, that's pretty awesome. Nah, they have to make money somehow. But I would say, for at least characters, okay, you can buy those. But, for more of a content updates, for the most part, they should be free. Okay, so we'll see about that. Hopefully their DLC management isn't going to be too over the board and like, Payday 2 was towards the end of that development. So hopefully there is some kind of depth to all of this, which is going to be pretty cool to see in the coming time up to launch, or maybe at launch. But pretty much it from me. What do you guys think about Overkill The Walking Dead? The gameplay wise, are you guys impressed? I can understand if you guys are not impressed right now, but hopefully we'll come together and be pretty awesome at launch. So that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have enjoyed, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on the channel. I'm Inferno-kun, and I will catch you guys next time on The Walking Dead.
Alone, we're weak. But together, we might stand a chance.